Yo, what is up YouTube? James Baek here, and welcome to week 2 team builder for the WBE. We have week 2 versus the Sin City Scizors, coached by PattyTrills. And yeah, I'm very scared about this match. Obviously the week 1 didn't go exactly according to plan, so I'm hoping that we can put on a better show. But his team is very scary. If you don't know what our team is, the Jubilee Piplups, we currently have the roster of Corviknight, Conkeldurr, Rotom Wash, Amoonguss, Umbreon, Rhyperior, Reboot, Delmise, Frostlass, Clefairy, and Torracat. We're going against the Sin City Scizors, coached by PattyTrills. Their roster consists of Necrozma, Silvally, Milotic, Incineroar, Mienshao, Braviary, Jolteon, Alcremie, Weezing, Ferroseed, and Golurk. So this is a pretty scary team. I cannot lie. I'm very scared about this matchup. I think there are 2 Pokemon specifically that I'm really worried about, which is going to be the Alcremie as well as the Mienshao. I think those are the 2 scariest Pokemon on the opponent's team that they can bring against me, especially with the Pokemon I brought. And yeah, I do think that this matchup is very terrifying. So we're gonna go over the 6 that I picked, the reasons why, and yeah, let's get started. Today's nickname theme, we're going with Hunter x Hunter, just because like I've been talking about the show a lot with some of my friends lately. So you know, we're going with Hunter x Hunter nicknames. We have Conkeldurr for the first one, and the reason I wanted Conkeldurr was Ferroseed. Ferroseed's kind of annoying for my team because I decided I'm not bringing the fire moves. I think Reboot could have potentially done work, but I wasn't exactly too sure what kind of set I want on Reboot. And yeah, I think Choice Scarf Reboot could have actually been pretty good against the team, but overall I was kind of a little bit concerned because I felt like if he brings a defensive Milotic, Reboot's really not going to do too much in the matchup. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll go Conkeldurr because it can also, because I don't have to Choice Scarf it, because if I was bringing Reboot, I'd probably Choice Scarf it because of the fact that I would like probably pivot U-turn and probably for Mienshao. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go Conkeldurr because it can switch up moves more reliably, and just like the recovery is kind of nice here, and it can kind of break through the team. So I chose the Flame Orb Gut set. And I think that with the Flame Orb set, like, it just allowed me to take on one. It let me avoid Toxic because I'm like very confident he'll bring Toxic on one of his mons. If he brings Milotic, I'm assuming that Toxic might be brought. He could bring it on potentially the Jolteon, which I'm not exactly too sure. I kind of doubt it, but I think the Weezing could definitely carry it if he does bring it. So I felt like, okay, going with Flame Orb so I can deny the Toxic damage from adding up quickly is nice. But the Guts ability I think was really good. And going with the moveset of Drain Punch to knock off Facade and Mach Punch, we have 212 HP, 156 attack, 60 defense, 76 special defense, and 4 speed with an adamant nature. Drain Punch is pretty standard. It's for the Ferrothorn, can get recovery, hits a lot on this team, hits the Milotic for decent damage. Mienshao pretty much goes down to it. Incineroar is gonna take a lot from it, and there's really no switch-in. The only switch-ins to really Drain Punch are Golurk, which I kind of don't expect him to bring in this matchup because I have a lot of answers to Golurk, I feel like, on my team. The Weezing, which is why I'm running the Facade with the Flame Orb Guts, because I think it's better for this team. Yeah, and what else did he have? I guess if it's Silvally and Necrozma. Necrozma doesn't want to switch into Knockoff though, which is the reason why I have it. Knockoff is also good for the Ferroseed, getting rid of Violet because it could let my Rotom Wash sweep. And yeah, I think Drain Punch plus Knockoff does really a lot of wonders against his team. And having Mach Punch, of course, is like really good for weaken Jolteon, for instance. Like if I weaken this team enough, Mach Punch can sweep, which is why I like it, being able to do a bunch of damage to like the Incineroar, for instance, if it wants to keep pivoting. And yeah, I definitely do like this Conkeldurr set. I went with Facade. The reason I went with Facade over Earthquake is because of the fact that if he brings Weezing, it most likely will carry neutralizing gas to wall the Conkeldurr, right? So Facade will be able to ignore it. I won't be able to get the Guts boost, but it will ignore the burned attack drop from my attack stat. And then Facade can do a lot to Weezing, depending on what kind of Weezing set it is. It probably does about, I think I calculated, it was like 30 to 50% depending on how bulky his Weezing is going to be. So yeah, I felt like Facade was pretty good. I'm not going to really like switch into Weezing too much with the Conkeldurr anyway, because I'll probably double or something. But yeah, overall, I think that the Conkeldurr can put in a ton of work against the team overall. And I really do like it as an endgame sweeper. And again, it's mainly there for the Ferroseed, because Ferroseed is very concerning to my team. The second member we're gonna bring is Leorio the Umbreon with the leftovers. Inner focus for the ability with toxic, foul play, wish, and heal bell. 252 HP, 236 defense, and 20 special defense with a calm nature. Now the reason I went with this Umbreon is because of the fact, one, I think leftovers is good against a lot of things here on the team, and I feel like overall it's probably just my best item in the matchup. I have inner focus because I do have toxic on this team, and this mons he can stas me with are Wheezing, which can't get toxic anyway, so there's no point of bring synchronize. Jolteon can thunder wave, I guess, but I'd rather have toxic damage on everything. And yeah, I think toxic Umbreon is just really good in the matchup, especially depending on his set, what he brings with Necrozma. And foul play does a lot to Necrozma. I've done the calcs. It does a ton of damage to him, even if he doesn't have any investment on a Necrozma. So foul play is definitely here to stay. It just does a good amount of Necrozma. This Umbreon is specifically designed to handle the Necrozma. So toxic and foul play, the reason I want toxic is because I really think that residual damage is going to be really important on a lot of mons, like the Milotic, for instance, like the Incineroar if it wants to switch in. And even the fighting types, I appreciate the toxic on, especially the Mienshao and the Braviary. I mean, toxic just hits a lot of the team. The only Pokemon that are immune to it are Wheezing and Ferroseed, and toxic is good on every single member of his team otherwise. So I think toxic is definitely the way to go. I have foul play for the Necrozma if he's like a Swords Dance set, which is kind of what I'm expecting him to bring. You could run Dragon Dance, so yeah, I don't expect Dragon Dance though. I do think Swords Dance would be the play, and foul play will obliterate a Swords Dance Necrozma. Wish, I was debating about between Wish and Moonlight, because I think Moonlight could have been better if I want to specifically have it on the Umbreon for immediate recovery. But I was like, okay, I think I'd rather just have Wish, because like Rotom does really well against this team overall, I think, especially against like the Incineroar, the Braviary, the Milotic. So I was like, okay, I think maybe just having Wish support is nice, because I'm probably going to be pivoting into Rotom a bunch. So having the Wish was good, I think, because it gave Umbreon recovery, but it also gave other members recovery as well, because it could be important, especially for Amoonguss and the Rhyperior as well, because I'm having Rhyperior handle some checks as well as the Rotom. So it's mainly for the Rotom and Rhyperior, but it could be nice for Amoonguss and even Conkeldurr while healing the Umbreon, which is important. And then Heal Bell as my last move. The reason I wanted Heal Bell specifically was because I definitely expect Toxic on, if he brings Milotic, I do think it's going to be on the Milotic. I could also see Toxic on Incineroar, which I could definitely see. And I definitely think Heal Bell is really good, because I don't want any of my Pokemon to get Toxic. I don't want my Rhyperior to get Toxic. I don't want Umbreon to get Toxic on the Switch, because this is my answer Necrozma. I want to make sure that it stays an answer Necrozma, so having that Heal Bell option is really good, I think. And you know, it does reset the Heal Bell with the Conkeldurr, but I think it's fine for the most part, because like I could always activate Flame Orb again by a switch anyway, so I don't think it's that big of a deal personally. And I think again, Toxic is just too big of an issue if my Umbreon or my Rotom gets Toxic, or even my my Rhyperior. So I felt like overall it was just better to bring Heal Bell as a set, and I think it definitely will pay off, because I think it's really good against this team overall. Because I will win the Toxic Stalwart, because he doesn't have the best Heal Bell mons. I think the only mon that gets Heal Bell on this team is the Jolteon, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it, because Toxic will just wear down everything on this team. The EV spread, what it allows it to do is it's able to take on both forms of Necrozma, depending on if he goes physical or special. If he goes physical, I am EV to live a +2 life orb Brick Break from the Necrozma, and Foul Play will Oko it back. And then I have some special defense in case he brings a special set, because Foul Play will still do a bunch of damage to the special set. So I'm pretty much okay with it. I want to make sure I got the best of both worlds. A +1 regular Necrozma if it's like Choice Band, or if he has Dragon Dance. It has a 6.3% chance to 2 a KO after leftovers, which I thought was like a good benchmark for the EV spread. And overall, I think this Umbreon definitely going to put in work. It's specifically there for the Necrozma, but if I'm able to catch the Necrozma early and they try to save it for preserving it for the late game, because Necrozma's not bad against my team, I can start spraying statuses and, you know, wishing up, and I think Umbreon's going to be pretty painful to handle. Of course, there is the Mienshao and the Braviary I'm a little bit concerned about, but I think we should be fine for that, because I do have answers for that. So the next Pokemon I decided to debate on bring is the Rotom Wash, and this Rotom Wash I think is really good against a lot of his members of his team. It's good against Golurk, Milotic, Incineroar, Braviary, can do work against Jolteon, Weezing, and it just hits a lot. Nasty Plot Rotom I think was really solid against the team in general. So yeah, we have leftovers Levitate for the ability, Hydro Pump, Thunderbolt, Nasty Plot, and Defog with 236 HP, 4 defense, 44 special attack, 12 special defense, and 212 speed with a timid nature. The blessed thing about singles is we don't have an item clause, so I'm actually able to run multiple leftovers. And yeah, I think this Rotom is a really good set. Hydro Pump, Thunderbolt, great stabs, hits Incineroar, again, hits all the Pokemon that I mentioned earlier. And there really isn't a switch to combination of Hydro Pump plus Thunderbolt, except Pharaoh Seed, which again, I'm bringing my Conkeldurr for, and it's still going to do a lot of +2. Thunderbolt plus Hydro Pump +2 is still doing a decent amount. As well as just like, yeah, there's really no switch unless it's like Savannah Grass, which I really don't expect here. So overall, I think Rotom can put in a ton of work with the Nasty Plot set. I was debating about the Rotom set. There were like a few things I was quite debating on for the last move. I knew I wanted Nasty Plot in this game. Defog was the last one I picked, and I was debating between the Resto Chesto Berry. I was debating about Dark Pulse because I could hit the Ferrothorn that way, and I was also debating about Trick potentially so I could steal the Violites from the Pharaoh Seed. But the reason I ended up going Defog is because if he did go Pharaoh Seed, he could go get up hazards like Spikes. I don't remember if Pharaoh Seed gets rocks, but Golurk gets rocks anyway. So like Defog I felt was like good overall because the hazards do mess up some of my calcs, specifically with the Umbreon. So I definitely want to get hazards off the field, and it really does matter for my Amoonguss. So I felt like Nasty Plot Defog was like perfectly fine for a set. We have 236 HP, 4 defense, 44 special attack, 12 special defense, and 212 speed with a timid nature. The reason I went with this EV spread, the 212 speed allows me to outspeed Braviary, max speed Braviary by 1 point. And yeah, +2, I really just didn't have that many calcs I needed. I went with 44 special attack because that KOs 4 HP Jolteon 100% of the time with Hydro Pump. So I felt that was a pretty good benchmark because I didn't think I needed a lot of special attack because I'm running Nasty Plot, and I definitely wanted bulk because I wanted Rotom to be able to switch in sometimes. So I just decided to give it to near max HP and then invest a little bit in defenses. Overall, I felt like we're super solid. And yeah, this Rotom has a lot of usage, can definitely do a ton of work, especially since it's like really good against a lot of the common Pokemon. Again, it's really good against Milotic, Incineroar, Braviary, which are the pretty high tiers of his team, and can do a lot to Weezing and Golurk. And yeah, I think this Rotom can definitely be an offensive sweeper. It's faster than Necrozma too, which is nice. And I should be able to just do a lot of damage if I can set up Rotom against a lot of his Pokemon. I'm not sure if he's going to bring all those Rotom weak Pokemon, because like this Pokemon is a threat to his team. So we'll see about that. But I do think Rotom Wash has a really good sweeping potential role. But speaking of sweeping potential role, we got our next Pokemon. All right, next we have the Frostlass, and this is the reason why I picked it up in my draft. It's a fast Pokemon. My team was lacking speed. Base 110 speed is really high, especially in a draft league tier of Generation 8. We have a Ghost type, which is really good offensively, and this Pokemon does a lot of work, and I mean a lot of work against most of his Pokemon, and I felt like I was very comfortable with it. So we have the Choice Specs Frostlass here to put in some work with Cursed Body, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, Trick as the moveset with 20 HP, 4 defense, 252 special attack, 4 special defense, and 228 speed with a timid nature. Now, the reason I chose Frostlass is because if you look at Patty's team, you see that his team really doesn't like switching to Frostlass. We have Necrozma, doesn't like switching in. Savali depends on the typing. Milotic can kind of switch in, but doesn't like Thunderbolt, or Shadow Ball is going to do a good amount. Incineroar can switch in, but I think I'm fine with that. I do have Conk, Rhyperior, and Rotom Washes and Incineroar checks. We have Mienshao, doesn't like it unless maybe it's the Salt Vest and maybe bulky, but it's still going to get 2 KO'd. Braviary doesn't like switching in. Jolteon doesn't like switching. Alcremie can because of its high special defense. Weezing with does not like switching into it. Pharaoh Seed can take it okay, but it's not appreciating multiple attacks, especially with the Trick if I get rid of his Violite. And then the Golurk, which does not like it. So I think Spec Frostlass can do a ton of work. There's really not much of a switch in between Ice Beam and Shadow Ball coverage, and Thunderbolt is also helpful for Milotic, so I want to go with this set. and I really want to try out the Choice Specs Frostlass. I think Bandit could also put in some work, but overall I was really wanting to try the special set. It's more reliable too than Poltergeist and the triple axle, which I haven't really tried out yet, but I don't think I want to risk it. I'd rather play it safe. Choice Specs also does a lot of work against this team, and I feel like it's definitely the one I want to try out. So yeah, we have the EV spread allows it to outspeed the Mian Shao. We have max special attack, and then we just have a little bit of extra bulk because we have leftover EVs. And yeah, I felt like overall that this Frostlass can put in a ton of work. Again, like, it gets a KO basically every time it comes in, except Incineroar, which is the only Pokemon. And if I can catch Incineroar, it's great. Having that Ghost type is also really good, because if the Mian Shao is another Pokemon I'm really scared of, especially clicking high jump kick, it can't click high jump kick freely because of the Frostlass. So that's the reason I want to bring one of my Ghost types here, because bringing one of my Ghost types pretty much makes him like second guess, does he want to click high jump kick this turn or next turn. If he wants to bring like another fighting move, that's fine, because like my Pokemon will be able to take the other fighting move better. But yeah, this is definitely a sweeper, and I think this Pokemon is going to put in a lot of work during the game itself. So I'm hoping that Choice Specs Frostlass can come through, and I definitely think it can. It definitely has some tools, and with Stealth Rocks that I do have on my Rhyperior, I think this Pokemon going to be able to sweep. If I remember right, Stealth Rocks into Choice Specs Ice Beam is a guaranteed KO on a frail Mian Shao. So yeah, I'm liking this Frostlass. I'm hoping it can do work. Next, we have Defensive Rhyperior with Leftovers as the item once again. Solid Rock for the ability, Stealth Rocks, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Fire Punch with 252 HP, 220 defense, and 36 special defense with an Impish nature. Now, the reason I chose this Rhyperior is because of the fact that I think Defensive Rhyperior is really good, because I'm a little bit scared right now of my switch-ins to Braviary specifically. Braviary is a Pokemon that looked really threatening because I don't have a good switch into it, if you can tell by the Pokemon I'm bringing. So I chose the Rhyperior because it's a good way to handle Braviary. With Solid Rock, we'll be able to take close combats even if they bulk up. So I'm like very confident that Rhyperior is going to do a lot of work. Handles Incineroar. Can also deal with the Jolteon. And the main reason I want to bring this Pokemon is Jolteon specifically. Getting rocks up I think is really good, but mainly it's just switching for Jolteon, which, you know, is kind of like tough for my team potentially if they bring a Specs Jolteon. And since there's no hidden power in this generation, Rhyperior is able to wall it, because no matter what set it is, even if it's Shadow Ball, won't be doing too much. So yeah, I should be fine with taking the hits. And yeah, mainly is just for the Jolteon specifically. I made it physically defensive though. You might be wondering, why don't you make it Spadef? Because the attacks from Jolteon aren't really hitting it, so I might as well have a second roll. And this Pokemon's also meant to tackle the Braviary, because the Braviary is a little bit tough. The EV spread allows it to, I believe, just take on like +1 close combat. I think it actually survives 2 of them, which is why I really want to go. I didn't need the attack because, like, again, I think Earthquake Rock Slide is just gonna like chip away a lot. Fire Punch for the Pharaoh Seed, because I think Pharaoh Seed can be a bit of an annoying Pokemon, especially that could switch in. So having that Fire Punch coverage, because my only Pokemon that can really hit it otherwise is going to be Specs Frostlass, but it doesn't do immediate damage. I don't want to risk my Frostlass and then Conkeldurr, which, you know, might be taking a knockoff, so that could be a little bit concerned. So I think just having that Fire Punch option, because they might want to switch into Pharaoh Seed if they don't bring my Milotic, is pretty good. And yeah, I think having that option is really nice. Again, meant to deal with Braviary, because I do think Braviary is a threat, as well as dealing with it could also take on the Weezing a bit, I guess, but mainly for the Jolteon and the Braviary, because I'm really scared about switching with Braviary with the Pokemon I brought. So the last Pokemon is gonna be Assault Vest Amoonguss once again, with Regenerator, Clear Smog, Sludge Bomb, Hex, and Venoshock. Now, what is Venoshock, you ask? Well, Venoshock is actually a move that doubles in power if the target is poisoned, which is very, very crucial actually, because one, I do have Toxic on Umbreon, which did synergize with the Amoonguss. Now, I had 2 options to bring here, actually 3. So I was debating about the last slot, because I knew I wanted to bring the first 5. The last one I kept debating about for a couple of hours actually. It was either going to be Corviknight, Amoonguss, or Dhelmise, because I was really worried about Alcremie. Alcremie was one of the biggest threats I felt like to my entire team, because Giga Drain for Rhyperior, Calm Mind could be really a nuisance, and I don't have things that really outspeed it and KO it right away. So I'm like, okay, I had to stop out Creamy. So Corviknight, Amoonguss, and Delmise were the greatest ways because they can hit it super effectively. And you might be wondering, why did I choose Amoonguss? The reason I chose Amoonguss is because I was also worried about the Mienshao. The Corviknight, especially Choice Band Mienshao. I was really scared about Choice Band Reckless Mienshao because High Jump Kick does so much damage to my team. It really does. I don't have a switch into Choice Band High Jump Kick. So I was like, okay, I'm going to bring Amoonguss because Amoonguss can probably take that on pretty well because of Regenerator, because it allows me to scout out if what item the Mienshao has, and if it's Choice Band, I definitely want to pivot into the Amoonguss all the time. And if they go for High Jump Kick, I could double out in a Frost Blast, or I could read their switch and like do something else. But overall, I felt like Assault Vest Amoonguss was the play always to deal with the Alcremie better, because yeah, I think this Amoonguss set just allows me to take on the Alcremie much better. And the EV spread, you might be wondering, it's a little bit complicated. We have 236 HP, 52 defense, 76 special attack, 140 special defense, and 4 speed with a calm nature. Now, I am a little bit concerned if he does actually run weakness policy out Creamy, because I did run Clear Smog, Assault Vest, Amoonguss last week. And the reason I want to go with the spread is because if he does go out Creamy and I Clear Smog the out Creamy on a Calm Mind potentially, he gets a +1 mystical fire off, and then he gets +2 because of the weakness policy from Clear Smog, because I get rid of his +1, but then weakness policy activates and gets in a +2. So this Amoonguss actually lives both +1 mystical fire and a +2 mystical fire from Alcremie, as well as a pivot to Mienshao. The defense EV spread allows it to take on Choice Band Mienshao. It will do about 65% maximum with Choice Band High Jump Kick with Reckless. And then that allows me, once I switch out with Amoonguss, allows me to take another hit from the Mienshao. So that's the reason for the EV spread. And then the rest were dumped into special attack because to deal with bulky Alcremie and do more damage to it. So yeah, Venoshock I think can actually put in work because I do again have Toxic, and I can get some Sludge Bomb poisons potentially, because I'll probably be clicking Sludge Bomb a lot here in this match unless I'm clicking Clear Smog against Alcremie. And you might be wondering, hey, why do you have Hex? So Hex is an interesting move. Yes, it also functions well with the Toxic on the Umbreon, but also it's mainly like Hex isn't really meant for that. It's mainly meant to deal with the Pharaoh Seed, because since there's no hidden power in this generation, I kind of get walled by Pharaoh Seed, and I'm like, okay, this Pokemon is probably my best answer to deal with Pharaoh Seed, because I have Hex, which since Pharaoh Seed cannot heal on me because it can't go for Leech Seed into a grass type, it basically gets walled by the Amoonguss. So Hex is actually, it's like a 11 hit KO, but it's enough to where I'm gonna have enough power points to deal with it. So like as long as I keep Amoonguss in and chip it away, they can't really do anything to me. So as long as I keep Amoonguss around, Pharaoh Seed is also useless. And yeah, I think the Amoonguss, again, pivoting from Mienshao, dealing with Alcremie are absolutely big roles. And Hex could do work, I guess, depending on the Pokemon. Like maybe if Necrozma gets Toxic, if I catch on a switch, it's going to be really good. Or Sludge Bomb Poison into Hex could be good. Probably wouldn't go for that though, because it could be policy on the Necrozma as well as the Alcremie. Like there are multiple different options, but I felt like overall Assault Vest was safe. I don't even need the Assault Vest item. I'm expecting a knockoff 100%, but I didn't want Rocky Helmet because it only gets a bit of chip onto the Mienshao, which I don't really need too much. So I felt like Assault Vest was my best item choice no matter what. So I am expecting to get knocked off. Pharaoh Seed does get knocked off if I remember correctly as an egg move. So yeah, I'm expecting the Amoonguss to get knocked off, but like I don't think I need it to beat the Alcremie anyway. It's just like in case like Alcremie gets too annoying and I'm able to get it in early to deal with Alcremie before it gets knocked off, I'm going to be in a really good spot regardless. And it, you know, I don't need my Assault Vest item, but if it does come in handy, it just helps me out even more. So yeah, I am a little bit worried about what the sets they are going to bring. This is the team. I'm really worried about the Mienshao because again, that Pokemon does so much damage, and I'm really worried about Alcremie because of because even though I have Amoonguss, if I let Amoonguss go down early or take too much damage, it can definitely be a bit concerning. So yeah, those are the Pokemon I'm really scared about this matchup. Braviary could be tough if I don't preserve Braviary can be tough depending on switch-ins wise, but I do have counters to beat it. Overall, I feel like the team is very safe. Like also Assault Vest Amoonguss can switch into the Jolteon very safely. There's no Jolteon could be another pivot. Amoonguss could be another pivot to Jolteon. which is nice overall. I think overall the team is going to be good. I am still scared though, because there are some big threats, but we will see how the game goes. But that is good. That was basically my thought process for building this team for WBE week 2. Let's see if we can pick up a win, but it's going to be difficult. This team is very scary to deal with. There are some threats. We'll see how it goes. If you did enjoy this video though, be sure to leave a like down below and leave a comment down below. It really does help me out and helps out my channel. You can also check out the rest of my stuff down below, such as my VDC content, as well as my other stuff. You can check out my second channel, as well as I do live stream on Twitch. If you want to go check out my opponent, make sure you check them out. Link in the description down below. But otherwise, yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. Have a great day, people. And until we battle again, I'll catch y'all later.